Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? This is Jason Ramos with Good Vibes Real Estate Solutions, sitting here with Mr. Chatto
for another episode of
Chat with Chatto.
Here we are. Welcome back, guys. Pleasure to see you all again here on a beautiful Wednesday. And last time we had our video, we gave you some action steps. We asked you to go out and talk to some local wholesalers, find out how they're doing their deals and what processes they're using. Are they representing themselves as buyers? And exactly how are they doing it, to follow up on last week's question.
Right. Cool. Did you do it? All right. So, guys, everything that we're telling you to do is stuff that we've done in the beginning, and it actually works. When you're out there networking and you're meeting all your people, that's when you're going to grow. That's how you're going to grow your business. That's how you're going to find out what to do and how to do it correctly. Everybody that we work with right now is somebody that we met at a meetup. We've gotten so many referrals, so many deals, so many partnerships because of these meetups and these joint ventures.
So that's a really good point, is as you're going out there, right? So if you went out and you met a couple local wholesalers, like, do you have their information down? Do you know who they are? Are they added to your circle of influence? Are you keeping track of the people you're meeting? Like, are you keeping track of the people that say they're buyers? Are you keeping track of the people that say they're wholesalers, realtors, title agents, whatever it is? You need to keep these people organized in some type of customer relationship management tool they call the CRM. There's a lot out there, Podio, Pipedrive, etc. We're not going to get into it on this episode. But you went out, you talked to some people, keep track of them.
Yeah, and follow up. Always be in their network.
Absolutely.
So a lot of your newbies out there that don't really have deals, if you have buyers, you can start selling other people's deals. And that's one of the things that we did with our people that came to our accountability group. They didn't really have deals, but we had deals. And we didn't have buyers, so we gave it to them. Hey, if you can find me a buyer, we'll JV with you all day long. So
absolutely.
You do have value. Even if you don't have any deals yourself, you can find a buyer and JV and partner up and make some money. So
cool.
Keep that in mind, guys.
So we're going to follow up. We had another question come in. Again, the email address, if you have a question for us, is questions@goodvibesre.com. So we had a question come in. Let me pull it up here on my handy dandy telephone. Of course, it was on the screen. There we go. So basically, this gentleman is saying he's a new wholesaler. He's getting started. He's starting to do his marketing. He's getting ready to get properties under contract, and he wants to know, oh my gosh, what happens if I can't sell the deal? How do I cancel the contract? What do I do? Which is definitely a fear of a lot of new people, that, especially if you don't have a buyer's list ready. So when you get a property under contract, first thing you're going to do is you're going to put it out to your buyers that you have, try to get this thing sold. Now, when you put it out, you're going to get some buyers through, right? Mm-hmm. So you're the Mr. Dispositions. How do you handle getting these people through the property?
Basically, what you want to do is you want to vet it out. You're going to blast this thing out everywhere. Zillow is a major.
The property we just did, that was a brand new market. So we're expanding into a new market. We just expanded into a new market. We don't have any buyers in this area, and we got, how many people you want to see? 12 want to see it? So why don't we go into that?
All right, cool. So basically, when you're breaking into a new market, you want to find out who the players are. You got to look at the MLS and see who's buying. Right? Mm-hmm. And once you find out who's buying, you can start mailing postcards to these people. And that's what we did. We saw that there's about 120 people buying specifically in the area, in the market that we're getting into. We sent out a mailer of 120 postcards to each and every one of these people.
Absolutely.
I went to a national RIA, real estate investment club, down in that area, and I was out there with flyers and just marketing. It was like I was a brand new person.
Yep.
So you gotta be hungry. You gotta go where the people are. You gotta have the bait. So that's what we call a property, is the bait. So you're going fishing. You're gonna put the bait on the hook and you're gonna throw it in, and that's how you're gonna find your buyers. So be aggressive. Do what other people aren't doing. Talk to other wholesalers. Other wholesalers have buyers. People that are in that market that are already doing it. Find out who they are, and they'll be able to help you as well. So there's a bunch of different ways to get a property sold. So let's tie it back into this question now.
Yeah, so to tie it back in, so you have your property. Let's just say theoretically you have a property locked up at $90,000, okay, and you're selling it for $100,000. You want to make a $10,000 spread. You get your buyers through. You get a couple people through the property, and they're coming back to you and saying, "Hey, man, I can't buy it at $100. I'll give you $75." Right? So now you got the contract at $90, you're $15,000 off, you're going to be losing money. You can't sell it to them. Right. So number one, hopefully you're not doing this at the last minute, right? You get the property under contract. You need to get this all done in the first 2 weeks, right? You have an inspection contingency, hopefully within your contract, and that inspection contingency gives you a chance to look at the property, get your people into the property. So you get somebody back at 75, and then if this buyer is a serious buyer at 75, you get two choices. You can cancel the contract, or you can renegotiate. So we've renegotiated a few times. It's not the funnest thing to do, but sometimes it's necessary to get the property sold, get the person's headache taken care of. So how would you handle going back to a seller and saying, hey, I know we have it under contract for 90,
Yeah.
and now you need it at 70?
So your buyers are your fuel, all right? Your buyers are your contractors, so to speak. So they're the ones that are looking at the nitty gritty. They're looking at what the property really, really needs, and they're going to tell you where they need to be. So based upon what they're telling you, so they're going to say, oh, there's mold in here, there's roof issues, there's this, there's that. You want to come up with like a list of the things that they're talking about so that you can bring it back to the seller. Hey, you know what? My first time that I came here, I didn't notice that it had this, this, and this wrong with it. You know, that's going to cost me an additional blah, blah, blah. You know, I'll split the cost with you. So if you're trying to get a $10,000 reduction, you know, it's going to cost me about $20,000 to $25,000. You know, I'll be willing to split the cost with you, you know, half, 50-50, $10,000 off, and lock it up at $75,000 as opposed to 80 or whatever. So you can go that approach, and sometimes they might do it, sometimes they won't. Or last option, which we have to do a couple times ourselves, is to cancel the contract. And it's not fun, it's not pretty. Made a couple people cry, actually. And you know, it's a messed up feeling when you have to, you know, cancel on somebody and they thinking that, you know, they finally got their problem property sold. So
Absolutely.
In order to cancel, you must have a couple disclosures in your contract, a couple ways out. All right, and the one that we use all the time is the
inspection clause. Yeah. So with the inspection clause, our contract reads something to the effect that subject to buyer's approval of inspection of property up until closing of escrow, which basically means I can inspect the property for any reason up until close of escrow,
Right.
and back out of the deal if I don't approve of the results of the inspection. But that being said, at the end of the day, in the first 2 weeks that you have the property under contract, that's when you want all this to happen. If you have a property that's supposed to close in 30 days, and you're going to the person on day 28, 29 saying, hey, I know we're ready to close next Monday, but I need a price reduction, right? They've already, you're so far along the pathway that that's just not the right thing to do.
That's a scumbag move. Do not do that. Like, don't drag somebody out that far. If you're not getting bites on your property from buyers within the first 2 weeks, then you know your price is too high. You need to lower it or move on. Like, don't drag this customer out.
Absolutely. And then also on that regard, as far as renegotiating it, if you don't have a buyer locked up, like ready to go at that $75,000 price point or whatever it is, don't renegotiate with the person hoping you can now go out and find a buyer with a lower price.
That's true.
Like if you don't have any buyers interested in the property at all, and you go and now renegotiate the price and you're still wrong, like now you're really dragging it out for this person. Yeah. Don't lock up people's properties and string along. It's the last thing you need to be doing.
That's a quick way to go out of business and have your reputation ruined. People talk,
absolutely,
and they'll go on the internet and just blast you. We've heard several stories about people in our market doing the same thing, and we know, like, oh, don't mess with this person. They just string you along. So don't do it. If you want longevity in this business, you got to do people right. So another thing is you always want to study your numbers. A lot of newbies come into this game and they always lock the properties up very high. I don't know what it is. They just do it. They just don't know how to analyze the numbers. So
they look at Zillow.
Yeah, don't look at this estimate. His estimate, depending on your market, is wrong as hell.
Absolutely.
Wrong as hell. But just know your numbers. Start looking at what's sold in the area. Run your comps and, know your repair estimates. If you're not sure, bring a contractor with you on your first couple appointments so you can have a basic idea of what it is.
Yeah.
When we first started out, I know you want to talk. When we first started out, though, we had somebody come with us on our appointments, and they pointed out stuff that we wouldn't even think to look at. Oh, look at this termite damage over here. Oh, look, that water heater's not properly, properly
vented.
Damn.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah. Remix it over here. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that when you're brand new, you're not going to know.
And the other thing is, you're brand new, partner with a buyer, right? Because now it's like, because if you're going into and getting a property under contract and you have absolutely no way to close on it, to make anything happen with it, you might be better off partnering with a buyer. If you go out and you go to the wholesale club and you find a buyer and say, the buyer's looking for a deal, you say, hey, if I lock up a deal, would you be willing to work with me, get them through, get somebody you can trust? Now you're going through with the buyer on that inspection, knowing what they're willing to pay, right? And it puts you in a much better position. And then you do a joint venture with them. You put your name on the contract and the buyer's name on the contract, and then he pays you your fee to step away from the contract, and he just steps in and buys it. There's a lot of ways to go about doing it, but in the beginning, when you're getting started and you don't know what you're doing, and you have no idea, and you're locking up a property, you could hit a home run and get a great deal, or you could be stringing somebody along and playing with them. So it's definitely a good idea to find a buyer you trust and work with them, right? Be willing to take a small fee for that knowledge. Don't look for a big $20,000, $10,000 assignment fee. Maybe just take a couple $1,000 to just get the benefit of working with that person and getting their knowledge and getting their know-how.
Yeah, good advice.
Cool. So for next week, right, I'm going to give you another action step. We want you, it's a kind of a little bit of a transition, but you need to get deals in your plate. In order to get deals, you need to do some marketing, right? So we need you to step out and get some marketing done. So what kind of marketing should they be doing over the next week?
Well, there's a whole bunch of things. In the week 1, we told you put a free video up on YouTube. Internet is huge. A lot of people, especially in these higher price point neighborhoods, they're going to the internet first.
Absolutely.
Right? So definitely have a presence out there. Get on the internet if possible. Bandit signs. So bandit signs, we have a couple stories about bandit signs. We don't really like them. Not that they don't work. It's just, you got to find somebody that you can trust to put them out for you. And one of the things that we encounter with bandit signs is we don't have people that can just go out there on a consistent basis that are doing it for us. And it was just like a nightmare. We were out 2 o'clock in the morning with our little black suits on and just hiding from the cops and stuff.
There's a reason they call them bandit signs, right? Yeah. So, a lot of new wholesalers do it. A lot of people get a lot of great success from it. But that's one thing you do is bandit signs. You got your video out there. If you've been following the action steps, do more videos. Do a lot more videos. Target them to the different cities in your area. I don't know if you have money or not. If you do, plan a marketing campaign for the next 2 months. Right? Figure out how much you want to spend on marketing. Learn how to market. Learn how to hit up absentees, probates, whatever it might be, and just do a marketing campaign over the next 6 months or 2 months.
Yeah, mailers work. Be original though. Don't do what everybody else is doing. When we go to a lot of people's houses, a lot of sellers' houses, they have a stack like this thick of all the same postcards. So you want to stand out. So if everybody's doing postcards, do a letter.
Absolutely.
Put your picture on it. Be original in your message. Don't just say what everybody else is saying, because if you take a guru's course and everybody's sending the same thing, then you don't stand out at all.
Absolutely.
Also, try to figure out Google AdWords, how to get...
That's another thing. SEO.
Yeah, it's huge.
Internet.
Huge. So you might not be there right now. You're brand new to the business. I would say do a mailing campaign and just get your feet wet,
Absolutely.
Don't do like 100 mail pieces. You got to go at least 1,000 in order for you to get any type of traction. 100 mail pieces, you're not going to get any calls. If you get one call, you probably won't get a deal out of it. You got to do numbers, large numbers. So make sure that you're doing it consistently as well. So one of the things that we're talking about in our business, which is helping us, is consistency. Absolutely. You have to do marketing on a consistent basis. So if you have a $5,000 budget, you have to do X amount per week. Make that $5,000 last. But always be consistent. And only do marketing when you're ready to handle the calls. So a lot of times people will blast, 10,000 mail pieces, but they're not even set up.
Well, they're ready to handle the calls, right? They called all the FSBOs. They got it down.
Yeah.
They got talking to people down.
No, I'm just saying, just make sure you're ready to handle that, because the phone will ring. And if you're not handling it, you're not calling these people back in time, other people in your area will be calling those same people, because everybody's marketing. So just keep that in mind. Like, if you're going to spend the money on the marketing, actually do the work. All right?
Cool. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.
Cool. See you guys later.